Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, June 6, 2025. I must apologize for not getting a video out on Thursday evening. My Flow internet was down, and the thing is, I'm not even mad at Flow because this is the first time I've ever had an issue with Flow for all of the 17 years that I've had the service. So I'll definitely take it, especially considering that they were saying that they were making upgrades. So not a problem. The internet is back up and running, and so are the videos. Please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video, and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let's just take a look at the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:07 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:07 p.m. Jamaica time. As you can see here, tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, so we're yet to experience a tropical storm Andrea or maybe even a Hurricane Andrea. However, on the eastern Pacific side of things, right here to the south of Mexico, for reference we have Cuba over here and Jamaica right here, we have two areas in the eastern Pacific that have a high chance of development within the next 7 days. We're starting with the one on the left, then we go to the one on the right. According to the Hurricane Center, let's zoom in. A low pressure system located several hundred miles south of southwestern Mexico is gradually becoming better defined, but the associated showers and thunderstorms are limited. Gradual development of this system is expected, and a tropical depression is likely to form over the weekend or early next week, while the system moves generally west-northwestward. And we see that they've given the system a 60% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and an 80% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. The other one to the right of it, or to the east of it, according to the Hurricane Center, they stated showers and thunderstorms are gradually increasing in association with a trough of low pressure located near the Gulf of Tehuantepec. Environmental conditions appear conducive for additional development, and a short-lived tropical depression is likely to form over the weekend while the system moves generally west-northwestward just off the coast of Mexico. Interests in southern and southwestern Mexico should monitor the progress of this system, and we see that they've also given this system a 60% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 70% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. As a matter of fact, let me see what over there is looking like. It's quite festive over there in the eastern Pacific. So let me find the infrared. Let's see what they're talking about. Here we go. Let's load up the loop as well. So these are the disorganized areas of showers and thunderstorms that the Hurricane Center is monitoring. As we can see here, there is one right here. This is the one that has the 80% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And the one to the east of there is the one that has the 70% chance of cyclone formation. And we see definitely it's disorganized. We don't see that deep convection. We don't see everything blobbed up together at all. So, and we know how these systems in the eastern Pacific are. They usually go out to sea, but as the Hurricane Center states, people in southwestern Mexico need to pay close attention just in case this other system scrapes the coastline. Whatever they do, are they going to be even going inland? We're going to have to stay updated from the Hurricane Center to see what occurs. We know the next names on the list over the eastern Pacific side of things. We have Barbara and Cosme. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see we have a ridge of high pressure right here to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of the strong easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We have a tropical wave right here equidistant from the Caribbean and Africa, intertwined in the intertropical convergence zone. We also have a frontal system right here extending from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of Hispaniola. Another frontal system right here off the east coast of the US. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out all of the entities that we just mentioned. That frontal system right here extending down to the north of the Caribbean. Also see the numerous frontal systems in and around the US. We also see that tropical wave right here is definitely in there somewhere, intertwined with the intertropical convergence zone. All of this having to do with the intertropical convergence zone, where the air from the northern hemisphere meets the air from the southern hemisphere, and then we have a lot of rising air showers and thunderstorms like what we see entrailing into portions of French Guyana, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia. This is why down there is always wet. Lots of thunderstorms, even in Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. This is why down there is always wet. They're just always going to be getting the thunderstorms because they are down there in the intertropical convergence zone. We can also see the low level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us see what took place today. So no forecast was made yesterday as stated, because I didn't have internet to do that. My apologies. My flow internet was down once again. But as you can see here, the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely see the clouds coming in from the east. We see the upper level clouds coming in from the west southwest, and we definitely had some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, if not isolated thunder showers, mainly across section of some northern and western parishes. Even a section of northern St. Catherine, northern Clarendon gotten on a brief isolated thunder shower at one point for sure. Nothing really taking place across the southern coastal areas or the eastern side of the island today at all. And we saw that when we had those thunderstorms, the upper level clouds are being sheared off towards the northeast or the east northeast by that upper level wind shear. And we can see that even better on the infrared close-up satellite images of Jamaica. We can make out all of the blues, the greens, yellows, oranges, reds that represents that cumulonimbus cloud activity, those high cloud tops. And we see them being sheared off towards the northeast, if not the east northeast, by that upper level wind shear. We can also make out the sparkling white dots within there across sections of some northern, western, and even that central parish right in here, maybe northern St. Catherine. We're talking about sections of St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth. That's where the brunt of the thunderstorms were today. And if we take a look at what took place across the Kingston Harbor at around 1:10 p.m. today, according to See Jamaica's YouTube channel, nothing in the way of bad weather looking towards Kingston. Nothing took place. Definitely sunny conditions for the most part. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe to this channel today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we might have had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some northern and western parishes, as well as that area of northern St. Catherine for sure. And we have the comments that came in to confirm what the weather was like in some of our subscribers and some of our followers' areas today. We have Randall Green. Well, this looks like an image that was posted yesterday. Doesn't seem like we have any of the community comments today. Did we get any community comments today? Let's see. Yeah, no community comments today, no problem. But that was what Randall said yesterday. Randall said that, good evening, weather Jamaica. We don't get any rain in Brownstone, St. Anne today. Alright, Randall. Let us see what the comments are saying for today. On our Instagram page, we had vodka _and_5 stating, and as usual, somebody turn up the sun over that side here. It must be Kingston, if not Portmore. We have one Ryan dot underscore stating raining in Hanover as usual, nothing new. There we can see the clouds in the afternoon. We also have Marlon underscore one God underscore stating place extreme hot weather Jamaica. I know, I was in Kingston today and the sun was crazy the little time that I stepped outside. Let's see, do we have any comments on our Instagram page? Doesn't seem like they want to load on Instagram at all. Alright, no problem. Let us see what's happening right now according to the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. The latest still image is showing 0015 UTC, which is actually 7:15 p.m. So this just came out 9 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:24 p.m. right now. And we can see that we still have some leftover cirrus clouds, those high cloud tops in the white. We also see some blues into the greens to the north of the island, especially to the northwest. Wherever we see the sparkling white dust, that's where the actual rainfall, if not thunderstorms, are taking place. So right there to the northwest of Hanover. Are you seeing the lightning out to sea? If you look to the northwest, Ryan, let me know. But as you can see here, thunderstorms are out there, as you can see there. Let us see if the Doppler radar images are confirming all of this. So we're reloading the Cuban Doppler radar, the Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the latest Cayman radar. As a matter of fact, let us see if the Met Service is back up and running with their Doppler radar. My goodness, it's been years. Alright, so going to metservice.gov.jm. Let us see if the Doppler radar button is actually working. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Is it working? Still not working at all. But it's promised that the Doppler radar should be up and running this year, hopefully in time for a possible system, tropical waves, hopefully no hurricanes at all. We'll take the tropical waves to bring the rainfall to keep water in our pipes. Nothing significant to flood out anybody at all. Regarding the Doppler radar, alright, so the latest Doppler radar is showing 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 7:20 p.m. Jamaica time. So this image just came out 6 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:26 p.m. now. And we can see the latest image is confirming the greens into the yellows into the oranges that represent some moderate rainfall, and the 480, that's the strong or the heavy rainfall right there to the northwest of Westmoreland. So it definitely making sense. The clouds that we're seeing, the isolated thunder showers right here to the northwest of Hanover. We see the actual rainfall, the moderate heavy rainfall out to sea over here. And don't be fooled into thinking all of these greens and yellows across northern and eastern parishes is actually rainfall, especially considering that we're not seeing the colors or the sparkling white that's on land. All of the colors that you see here that look like rainfall is actually ground clutter. It's actually a glitch on the Cuban Doppler radar. It's very glitchy, but we have to work with it because the Jamaican Doppler radar isn't working. But you can see there definitely some nice rainfall out to sea. If there are fishers or cruise ships out there, they're definitely getting battered as we speak, and we can see that most of these rain bands are pushing off towards the west. Regarding the Guantanamo Bay, Cuba US Navy radar, don't see much of anything across northeastern Jamaica. We do see some rainfall, some light to moderate rainfall to the northwest of Guantanamo across section of southeastern Cuba. We also see some isolated showers here and there across portion of the western peninsula of Haiti. Regarding the Cayman radar, we see some isolated showers here and there dotting the south coast of central to western Cuba. We also see the rain band right there that we had earlier across sections of Hanover pushing off towards the west, as you can see there. We also see some rain bands right here to the south and southeast of the Cayman Islands, to the west of there too. What's taking place right now? A live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the Devon House stream right now, 7:27 p.m. Definitely busy as usual. Lots of vehicles, people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing on the way of bad weather taking place. Definitely fear, as you can see here. And that should be the order of the evening. Let us see what's going on right now in terms of the temperatures. We can see that we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday. We can see Jamaica right here embedded in the grays for the most part. And the grays, as we can see from the key on the right, represents a 0. It's not the yellows or the oranges and the reds that represents above normal air temperature. It's not the blues into the greens that represent below normal temperatures. It's average temperatures for the most part, or normal temperatures. The normal temperature or the average temperature for the month of June is close to around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's around 32.2 degrees Celsius. So that should be the temperature forecast for Jamaica on Saturday. And we're grateful that we don't see any maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page. Excuse me. So that is the forecast for June. So hold on, I think I'm mistaken. I see at least 2 of them. So we're looking at Saturday, June 7. I could have sworn I didn't see any outages expected at all, but they're definitely there. Let's zoom in a bit. Alright, so unfortunately we have some maintenance outages taking place on Saturday in these areas, and we have to highlight this because know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Saturday. We're referring to Grantham, Frankfield to Alston Square and the environs, all in the parish of Clarendon from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're also referring to Deans Valley, to Carawina, if I'm not butchering these places' names, in the parish of Westmoreland from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., as well as Iterboreal, if I'm not butchering that name, Cricket River, Enfield, Epsom, Timsbury, Juno Pen, Port Stewart and Rose leading off, all in the parish of St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, seek shade when outside. Eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruit. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty. And put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. The yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites. Within those reds, you can see the abundance of dry air across the open waters of the Atlantic. Right here off the coast of Africa is where the most intense dry air is. And we know that the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. And we'd rather to see more blues, like what we're seeing across the Caribbean, the southwestern Atlantic, into the Gulf, into the eastern Pacific, and the intertropical convergence zone of the Atlantic. We know the blues represent that moist air, and we want more moist air so that we get more rainfall, so that we can get more water in our pipes. Regarding the Saharan dust forecast though, we can see that for June 6, June 7, June 8 into June 9, definitely going to be in the clear for Jamaica. No Saharan dust expected, but look at this, we see some Saharan dust coming in from the main development region into portion of the eastern Caribbean. But what we like to see is the fact that it was all intense at first, reds into pinks, but we can clearly see that the more it pushes towards the west, the more it's starting to dwindle, and it dwindles down to more of a yellow shade, if not a greenish shade. Definitely dwindling. Yes, there's Saharan dust coming after June 9, but it's not going to be that vigorous that we're going to be noticing the hazy conditions or have it really affect persons with the asthma or sinusitis issues at all. We're grateful for that. So it's not really that of an intense or a vigorous plume of dust that's coming, but there's some Saharan dust coming nonetheless. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can clearly see now we have more light shades of blues into dark shades of blues extending from the Gulf into the Bahamas, the Caribbean into the Eastern Caribbean, and Northwestern Caribbean into the Eastern Caribbean. That's representing anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to at least 1.5 meter wave height, and that's because of the winds that are expected. We see more of an easterly flow across the Caribbean, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots, gusting up to 25 knots right here to the north of Colombia, to the northwest of Venezuela. More of a southeasterly flow right here into the Gulf. And we can see regarding Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, up to at least 1.2 meter wave heights to the north of Portland, Right here to the north of St. Anne, 1.1 meter wave height expected. Right here to the north of Hanover, 0.9 of a meter wave height. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.8 of a meter wave height. To the south of Clarendon, 1.1 meter wave height. To the south of St. Thomas, 1.4 meter wave height expected. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We clearly see more of an easterly flow across the island for sure. We clearly see that anything that comes off of the sea gonna be crashing into eastern St. Thomas and eastern Portland. But clearly we see that the least amount of winds is going to be across sections of some western parishes, maybe even sections of some northern parishes. That's where we're going to be having all of the air piling up, all of those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. And if we get those to become cumulonimbus clouds, we might just have a repeat of what we had happen today, with those upper-level clouds being sheared off towards the northeast by that upper-level wind shear. That's the forecast for tomorrow. So something similar to this when we had the thunderstorms out west. We had the cloud toss being sheared off towards the northeast or the east-northeast. Definitely bring more overcast skies section of some northern parishes for sure. So it was a case where most of the thunderstorms were over here, inland areas of some central parishes, sections of some western parishes, Hanover, Westmoreland. Then the cloud tops are being sheared off towards the northeast, bringing more overcast skies to some northern coastal areas for sure. And regarding the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. So we don't see anything for the morning, but we do see something for the afternoon. And we're going to be working with what the GFS is showing, because the Euro is showing something crazy. The Euro is showing blues represent rainfall across the entire island, from the eastern to the western end. But I'm more inclined to believe what the GFS is showing, because we don't have a crazy tropical wave or depression affecting us. So there's no way that this from the Euro could be right. So it's going to be some afternoon isolated daytime heating rainfall, that diurnal convection, mainly across sections of some central and western parishes. And it's clear that the bias is going to be for the north coast for sure. Definitely section of St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, section of Westmoreland, maybe northern St. Elizabeth, northern Manchester, northern Clarendon, northern St. Catherine might get in on some of the action, maybe even sections of southwestern St. Mary. We'll see how that actually plays out, and I'll definitely keep you posted with what occurs. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS definitely showing rainfall within the next 24 hours somewhere across the island. The Euro definitely going bonkers with that rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes. Don't believe a word of that. The GFS making more sense with that rainfall more so across sections of some central and western parishes, with more so affecting the northwestern end or the northern end. And whatever happens, we'll take it. We're in the month of June, and in Kingston, this bar graph is being shown right here at the top. We usually receive up to at least 110 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, this bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom. We usually receive up to at least 6.5 inches of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of June, you can visit www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website to show that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us see what is being forecasted for the next 7 days across the Western Hemisphere. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on at the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So we just looked at Saturday, so now we're going to be looking at Sunday morning. 12 Z is actually 7 a.m. First of all, look at the abundance of moisture to the south of Mexico, something definitely trying to spin down there. We also see an abundance of moisture to the southwest of Jamaica, near eastern Honduras, off the east coast of Nicaragua. Lots of showers. We see the greens into the yellows, some crazy inches of rainfall. Then on Sunday afternoon, it looks to be more so central and western parishes with that rainfall. Let's see if we have agreement on the GFS. Sunday morning, we see the moisture to the southwest of us. It's a bit definitely closer to Jamaica than what the Euro was showing. Let's continue. We also see that even on Sunday afternoon, look at that, some of the moisture coming in even more. We also see whatever is to the south of Mexico taking off, intensifying and pushing westward. Let us see what Monday morning is showing. Monday morning, it looks to be some isolated showers out east. And then Monday afternoon, it looks to be eastern, central, and western parishes with that rainfall. What does the GFS show for Monday morning? Not really much of anything. Monday afternoon, however, look at the abundance of moisture across eastern, central, and western parishes. We also see an abundance of moisture across Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, especially across the Western Caribbean, Central America for sure. Do we have the consensus on the Euro? Kind of. Nothing as significant as what the GFS is showing, though. Very interesting for Monday afternoon, according to the GFS. We'll see how that plays out. Let us see what Tuesday morning is showing. Maybe some isolated showers to our north or southwest. Tuesday afternoon, not really much of anything. Maybe some isolated showers, especially out west. What does the GFS show? Tuesday morning, rainfall to our north, rainfall to our southwest. Tuesday afternoon, more of that rainfall across the northern and western parishes. And we have to take what the GFS is showing with a grain of salt, because we don't want to be tricked like last time at all. GFS always does the most, and then when it's time for the rain to actually come, nothing takes place, which is why we have to work with what both models are showing. The Euro may be showing some rainfall right here to the south of Jamaica and Hispaniola, extending into portion of Central America. Wednesday afternoon, look at that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show for Wednesday morning? Rainfall still to our southwest and abundance of it. Then on Wednesday afternoon, looks to be like some rainfall across the western end of the island. Let us see what the Euro is showing for Thursday morning. Thursday morning, lots of moisture to the south of Haiti, to the south of Jamaica, into portions of the Western Caribbean. Thursday afternoon, looks to be maybe sections of eastern, central, western parishes with that rainfall. And we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for 7 a.m. on Friday, June 13. And look at the increase in moisture extending from the Western Caribbean to the Southwestern Caribbean to Jamaica to the Central Caribbean for sure. Very interesting. Do we have the consensus on the GFS? First of all, Thursday morning, abundance of moisture in the Southwestern Caribbean and the Western Caribbean. Not really seeing much of anything across Jamaica. Thursday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across eastern, northern, and western parishes. Still seeing that abundance of moisture across the south and the west. Then, by the end of the 168 hours now, very interesting. Both maps that are showing Friday, June 13, are starting to show an increase in moisture. Look at the GFS showing an abundance of moisture extending from the Central Caribbean all the way over into portion of Central America and Western Caribbean. Eastern Jamaica getting in on some of that, and we see the consensus on the Euro too. As a matter of fact, look in the Eastern Pacific, lots of moisture over there. So does this mean that the Central American gyre is starting to get its act together? We know the Central American gyre is basically a broad spin in the atmosphere across Central America that can definitely spin out some low pressures, some tropical systems. Maybe we could get a low pressure here in the Western Caribbean or in the Gulf, or we will be getting more low pressures or more systems forming in the Eastern Pacific, thus leading to a tropical depression or tropical storm forming. We've had these things happen in the past. Sometimes the Central American gyre spits out even more than one system at a time. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what takes place. Sometimes these gyres cause a lot of flooding across some of these Caribbean islands, especially across Central America, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua. These areas can definitely get flooded out for sure. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what happens over the next 7 days, but we know that a lot of rainfall is going to be in the forecast by the end of the next 7 days for second of Central America for sure. And we have the totals here for the next 7 days confirming that. Look at the GFS, definitely more robust than the Euro, but we're clearly seeing that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be wherever we have the dark reds into the purples and the pinks, into the peach, and even into the blues that represent from 2 all the way up to what, 15 or so inches of rainfall. I mean, look at all of this extending into portions of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica. Look at this across eastern Nicaragua, eastern Honduras. That's up to 15 inches or more. Section of the Yucatan, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, section of Costa Rica, Panama, if I didn't say those as yet. That's a lot of rainfall that could trigger some amount of isolated flash flooding for sure, maybe even crazy flash flooding if it actually comes to fruition. While the other areas that are shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, and red, that represents anywhere from 0.1 of an inch of rainfall up to an inch of rainfall, or maybe at least a bit more. We're talking about section of the Leeward Islands, the Windward Islands, the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Jamaica, Florida, the Bahamas, the Cayman Islands. Well, we said the Jamaica already. Definitely going to be getting rainfall within the next 7 days, but nothing as significant as what sections of Central America and Northern South America are going to be receiving. But if we focus our attention a bit on Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, clearly we see, hold on, let's load up the GFS. So we just saw the Euro right here that's showing rainfall across the island from the east to the west, especially across the far east where we have the yellows into the oranges that represents anywhere from 30 to 50 millimeters. The GFS showing only up to at least the greens into the yellows that represents 15 at least to 30 millimeters, while it's more so the northern and western ends that are going to be receiving that afternoon rainfall. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, but clearly we see that over the next 7 days rainfall is expected, but nothing as drastic as what is being shown across sections of Northern South America or Central America at all. Why we need a good rain event for sure, because the place is surely hot. Alright, let us focus our attention on what's happening on the rest across the rest of the Caribbean. So clearly we see that low to mid-level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west across the Caribbean. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity associated with the intertropical convergence zone, entraining a lot of moisture into portions of northern South America, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Venezuela, Colombia, section of Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, getting in on their fair share of rainfall. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar imagery, Doppler radar in and around Puerto Rico, showing some isolated shores here and there to the east of the Leeward Islands as well. Loading these images from earlier, we saw some rainfall across section of northern Puerto Rico, western Puerto Rico as well. The moderate to heavy rainfall at that. The Barbados radar showing that northeasterly or east-northeasterly flow brings some moisture, some light to moderate rainfall into portion of northern Barbados, extending some of that moisture into portion of the Grenadines, section of Grenada, sections of Tobago, getting in on some amount of rainfall as well, maybe even pushing into section of Trinidad. Regarding the wide of Doppler radar images though, we can clearly see that the northeastern portion of South America are getting lashed. Talking about Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, we see those greens into the yellows that represent some moderate to heavy rainfall. We also see some rainfall across section of northwestern Venezuela, some rainfall across sections of Colombia before the image glitched out. We see some isolated shores here and there across northern Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula as well. And regarding the rainfall forecast for the next 24 hours across the Caribbean, we can clearly see that there is going to be the most rainfall expected across sections of northern South America, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Belize, section of Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana. Clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant about that, while it's going to be more so some isolated shower activity wherever we have the greens into the yellows and oranges for sections of Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sections of St. Lucia, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, the US and British Virgin Islands, Western Puerto Rico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, the Bahamas, Jamaica, sections of Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, getting into some of that. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.